The creator economy isn't short on tools. It's actually drowning in them. Today's guest is challenging the idea that creators need more software and instead building one system that replaces the chaos. Kamsi, what was the primary thing that made you make this decision to change the way the technology is working around the creator side right now?
I have experience as being a podcast creator for half a
Okay.
decade, and I realized that there was a lot of gaps in the industry. Tried looking for a couple tools that could do certain things. Some were good at certain things, maybe editing, or some were good at flipping, and something else was good at scheduling, analytics, but there wasn't an overall tool. So having a background in software engineering, I said, you know what? This is my area of expertise. I might as well go build it myself. And that's what I decided to do.
Love it. So let's take a couple steps back. You had a podcast, you said, for many years, right? What was your podcast about, and do you still have it?
It's called LX3 Media, and we helped people understand each other better through shows and podcasts. We currently do not still produce content, but it's still live there if anyone wants to go see it.
Got you. Why did you stop doing it? Just got too much.
We stopped doing it because we started working on Cassie AI, and that took more time.
So the name of your software is called what?
Cassie AI.
Spell it for me.
KASI space AI.
Nice. Okay. And so when you were recording your podcast, what platform did you use to record your podcast on?
Podcast was live.
Okay.
So we filmed it directly from a camera. We had to invite the guest over, all of that.
Was it like on YouTube?
Yeah, so we posted on YouTube and then did distribution every other place.
Okay. So we record ours on a platform called Riverside. Riverside, I think is pretty common. I think there's a couple other that are probably more common, like StreamYard and stuff of that nature. Why we use Riverside was because it had the functional capabilities of being able to record, house all the content here, but then it had all the editing ability right inside of the platform. Now we
Mhm.
have other editing tools that we use outside of what Riverside does. Because I think Riverside, I would say that the way they edit content's no different than like an Opus clip, in that it uses AI to try to find the best clips, but they're not necessarily always the best clips during the right level of context. You're replacing those, right? So you're replacing, I've got a podcast, instead of recording on Riverside, I record on your platform. I can then edit on your platform. I can schedule on your platform, and I can distribute on your platform, right?
You got everything except the first part. So we don't do the recording on the platform. So
Okay.
you can record directly from your camera or you can record maybe even from Riverside. But we handle everything afterward. So the editing, the clipping, the posting on what's the name, social media platforms. And then the most important part is the analytics that actually matter to you.
Okay. Makes total sense. So the analytics, talk with me more about that. So when you're saying analytics, you're talking about tying into the social media that you're then sharing it with, and having, social analytics tied back to it?
Yeah, so that's one component of analytics. So the first part would be analytics from socials, which you can get from Instagram, YouTube, things like that. But another important part is analytics based on your video. So deeper analytics of, oh, today Matt is wearing white. If he wears white, he does better than when he wears maybe red because people can't really see him because his shirt is red or something like that.
Okay.
Or the camera angle is better when it's top, left, right. Those type of deeper analytics, not just social media analytics.
How does it drive the decisions on that? How does it drive the decision to know that the video performs better when it's white? Is it tying back to how the videos did on the social media, so you can draw that attachment?
Yeah.
One of the other things we played with a lot, Kamsi, is we played a lot with the thumbnails. We played a lot with the titles, the hooks on the thumbnails, all of those different things. Does the analytical review analyze those different things as well?
So not on that level because that is more specific to certain platforms like YouTube. But Maybe things like captions, yes, for sure, or things like the title you use, but not as deep as the thumbnail that you're going to use, because not every platform is going to require that.
That makes sense. What based off the data you've seen from clients you've done or when you've used this platform for yourself, what are some of the reporting analytics that you've seen come back that have surprised you the most about small little things that are getting results?
I think in general for podcasters, because different people use it for different things, but in general for podcasters, in terms of clips that work, when you use a question at the start of the hook, it usually does better. Is one
Mm.
thing I would notice that happens for most people. So I think probably maybe because of the loop not being closed with the question, people tend to be more interested or something like that. But that's the data.
Yeah, I guess when you ask the question, they want to stay around to see what the answer might be, and that kind of creates that engagement process. Yeah, the creating of the hook content has been an ever evolving thing for me as a guy who really had no social media presence 2 years ago to then who started trying to be more involved in social media when it's unnatural to him to then I started the podcast and then had a lot of clips going out, but we were doing like some real bad social media stuff with the clips at first, just poor quality. And we've, every time have learned a little bit more. We'll change this, we do this, A B test that. Now, obviously, I can see the use case for the podcast side, but what about somebody who's just like a general influencer, somebody who likes to put their videos on TikTok? Is there a value of them using your platform for that? Or is there a value of them just doing them directly through TikTok or something like that?
So it depends on the type of podcaster or the type of creator who's using the platform. So if it's a creator with the intent of using their platforms as a business, they're most likely doing more things than just the average person posting on just Instagram. So if you're a creator and maybe you create content for brands and things like that, you're most likely having to post on both TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and that's not just the average person. The average person might just post on Instagram and call it a day. For that kind of person, scheduling would be helpful. Analytics would be helpful. Finding out what works specifically for your audience, not just because today some random person on social media said, oh, if you use trending audios, it works. If you use, yeah. So things like that, figuring out what works for you is still going to be important.
Now, do you allow somebody like me to post on basically every social media out there? Like we're on both Meta, we're on TikTok, we're on Shorts, obviously YouTube, LinkedIn. I assume if I wanted to post content, I could schedule it and then post it to any of those platforms.
Yeah. So right now you can post directly to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Some other ones are coming as well, like Twitter and TikTok as well.
Got it. Okay, but you didn't say Facebook, but when you say Instagram, I assume that's an interconnected thing with Facebook.
Yeah, you can post on Instagram. Not a lot of people who use the platform post on Facebook, but if that's
'Cause you're a
something that,
younger crowd, right?
yeah, if Matt definitely needs that, we can put that in.
Okay. Yeah, I don't need it. I just want to put is my stuff where I actually have almost zero traction on Facebook. All of my traction is on LinkedIn. I mean, because I run a professional focused podcast and I'm an entrepreneur that does coaching and consulting, that's just where the content resonates. All the people that are on LinkedIn are like my family or people I went to high school with. Like they're like, I don't care what this guy's doing 25 years later after high school. Um, why I asked that though, and this is another thing that we've learned, which is the importance of even though I have maybe the same content message um on each of these platforms, how you post them gets a different response, right? So even though I might want to post the same picture and caption on TikTok, it's not the same thing that's going to work on LinkedIn. So does your platform factor that in to say here's the gist, but then here's the place and how I post it there? I mean, does it help you with that?
Not at the moment, but that's one of the things that we've added to our roadmap based on the feedback we've been getting from a lot of the users that have been using it.
Okay. So you understand that it does those things, not necessarily available today, but on the roadmap for you to build out, right?
We understand that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Now, on LinkedIn specifically, what content do you see working the best? I mean, does mostly all you guys post is video focused content? Is it written content? Is it combination content? And if so, what's working best?
On the platform, the focus is video content, but based on just research, I know written content tends to do pretty well on LinkedIn.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that everything I've read is that LinkedIn obviously is still going to be a heavy content, written content based platform like Facebook, but I think that they're putting a large push towards video and trying to have it be a more centered part of the platform. Do you find people that you work with get more traction today on Reels or on TikTok?
I think it depends on the creator. Generally, TikTok is usually better for getting views because they have a better way of distributing their content. But depending on the creator and how active they are on certain platforms, usually determines the performance that they have on the platform. But in general, from what we've seen, it depends on the creator.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I always thought that TikTok would give me the best chance of virality and to be able to get in front of more people. But do you know the honest truth is, we've gotten so much more traction on shorts than on any of the other ones. I mean, I've had some videos just go off on shorts for no reason. And I've not seen that same ability to go viral on the other platforms so far. And once again, maybe it's the message, maybe it's, that how we're building the content more specifically around YouTube, but I was interested in that. What's your 5-year plan with Cassie AI?
5-year plan in terms of the product or 5-year plan in terms of the business? What's the specific
Sure.
question?
Either one, you tell me however you feel best to answer that.
In terms of the product, I would say the 5-year plan is to get to a point where creating content is as easy as just speaking to your phone about it. So after you do recording your content on maybe your camera or maybe Riverside, you can speak directly and you can say, "Hey Cassie, I know I just posted this video on YouTube. I want you to create 5 clips and post it across social media for the next 5 days." And you know that it's going to confidently do that. Or in terms of the video editing, right now a lot of the effects, if you want to do effects, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of talent, which means it costs a lot. With Cassie, I want to be in a situation where that's as easy as typing. The way you do Chat GPT and you're like, oh, create this 10-word summary of something. Just do that for video editing. In terms of the company, it's pretty much in line with where the product goes for the company.
Yeah. Um, how many clients do you currently have on the product right now?
Over 1,000 users right now.
Wow, that's big. How did you get that many customers using your platform?
So in terms of finding customers, we first started off with warm outreach. So reaching out to people that we knew. In total, we had a contact of about 8,000 people to reach out to, and I had like a conversion rate of like 10%. So like the first 700, 800 people came from there. Then we started creating content. So creating content on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube. Then we started posting content every single day. And then out of the content that does really well within the week, that gets turned into a blog, which helps with our SEO. And then we scale that up as an app. So we also run Meta ads and Google ads.
Wow. Okay. So how many people do you currently have within your team and your organization today?
Right now it's a very big team of 2.
Okay. So that's you and one other person. And that person's been with you since the beginning on the business?
No, the person recently started about 2 months ago.
Okay. And when you brought that person in, what were you trying to solve for? What were you trying to add to your team that you couldn't do yourself at this point?
So I could do a lot, but that means whatever I'm working on at the time, every other thing is not getting work done. And the most important part is creating the product. So building out and then also selling. And I knew that at the end of the year, we wanted it to be a team of 3. So somebody building, another person selling, and then me doing wherever else I need to fill out with that. So the first person was actually the founding engineer. So the reason was because, oh, looking at the product, I was like, yeah, this is gonna take a while for where we want to get it, especially if you're depending on one person. That's how we made the decision for that.
So, can I make the assessment just based off what you said that you feel stronger in your ability to sell than your ability to develop? Or you just prefer selling than developing?
I feel stronger in my ability to build, to develop than to sell, but I can do both because I have background. My professional background is in building. But while I was doing all the building things, I also have a lot of marketing background. So being a creator myself, being a podcaster, doing modeling, being a videographer. So I have a wide range of experience in that side. But I know that I can confidently see when, okay, yes, this person is maybe like a better builder, or this person will most likely take it to where it needs to go to.
What's the third person you're hiring?
It will be a
That you're
marketer.
gonna get three by the end of the year. You said what position?
It'll be a marketer. So a founding marketer.
Okay, gotcha. And when you're saying by the end of the year, we're right now when recording this, we're in 2025 still, so it's almost at the end of the year. So do you have that person figured out who that's going to be for you?
We're still talking, so hopefully by the end of the year we'll end up with a person. If not, by next year the person will join. Somebody else will join.
So regardless of who this person is that you're talking to, what were when you said I need to bring in a marketer, what were the primary things you were looking for in that person to be able to add to your team? Like what was the experience, the personality traits? What was the most important thing for them to have?
The most important thing was knowing how to get attention that actually converts. So not just doing something that will be interesting or viral, but at the end, nobody actually knows what we do. So that was the main thing there. And then someone who actually has experience doing that either for themselves or for somebody else. So that was another thing. And then also thinking right now about the conversation I've had with this person, the type of ideas that this person talks about. Because it could be someone, there are people who have marketing backgrounds, but it's very traditional, and with the way a lot of the companies are going right now, that is not working as well. It's still working because a lot of people are still using it. It's still working. But to be as competitive as we want to be, we can't be doing the exact same thing, especially how small we are. Yeah.
So I would imagine that based off of your business style, I don't know how old you are, but you look like you're a young man. Um, the person you wanted to bring in, you probably want them to be young, right? They need to really know how to really run social media, right? And guys like me, 43 years old, like that's not our thing. I mean, I'll check out social media here and there, but I don't know what I'm doing on that. So you need somebody young, energetic, somebody who's been doing this, since they got a phone in their hand, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. Um, Now I've talked to a lot of founders over the past couple of months in my journey, and one of the big things I see almost every company focusing on doing, which is building a business that ultimately has a plan of exit. Is that your plan? Is it to build something that you ultimately can take funding for and then eventually get acquired, or are you not thinking that far ahead right now?
I'm open to that. So I've thought about the end goal for it. And I'm open to the idea of maybe getting acquired by somebody else bigger in the media space. But looking down the line with the vision of the company, I can see a situation where it actually lasts longer because of the amount of components that are being joined together, especially the data component, which is going to be very much important as we move towards the new like creative world. So a lot of the AI created content and everybody can create content. Somebody needs to know the data that actually works for good content. And that's where it will be established at.
So, yeah, so it sounds like to me, based off that answer you just said, you would identify yourself as a data company who does editing more than just a video editing platform. The value of the company for a potential investor would be the volume of content that or the value of volume of data that you have built into your platform that can then ultimately be used in alternative ways as well.
Exactly. So for both, not just for the person we're selling it to, but also the users as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Because if you invested so much in figuring out, oh, this type of thing works for me on Instagram, this type of thing works for me on LinkedIn, you have more reason to stay than to just move to somebody else new. And then also for the investor, that's another reason why the company is very valuable. I think another way I describe the company is a data company for the new creative world.
It makes total sense. Now, you guys at some point made a decision not to have it be a platform in which you could record from. Is it just a limitation of that you would have to have? You just don't feel like it's important? Like, why not also have the ability to do what a Riverside might do or a StreamYard might do, which is says you can host your content here, you can record your content here, and then in that exact same platform, you can do all the other stuff you do. Why not go in that competitor Riverside space?
Two things. One, it would be a distraction. And then two, it's a completely different business.
Okay. So who
So
would you consider your competition to be right now? Is there anybody that I would know of, the general public would know of, that would be considered your competition on a global, bigger scale?
So a close competitor would be the likes of Opus Clip or Clap.
Okay.
But the same thing with like Opus Clip and everybody else. Everybody else is still focused on the video editing component of things, which is not what we're focused on. We're more focused on the social media management ends
Mhm.
of things.
Now, do you guys have tiers of service within your business? So if you say like Opus Clip, I believe they're like $100 a month, right? They're not like super, super expensive. And maybe I'm not aware of what they cost, right? Um, but let's just say they're $100 a month. Are you guys trying to be competitive in price to them at your with your thousand customers, or are you saying, hey, we offer a premium service because we offer the data analytics, we offer the other information that you could use our platform for?
Yeah, so we're not trying to compete on price because that will end up becoming a downwards hill battle for us.
Yeah,
But we're more trying to compete on the offer that we have for you.
sure. It makes total sense. So
Yeah,
what they get for the money, right?
exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know how much I pay for Riverside. I mean, I don't think it's much more than $100 a month with Riverside too. Maybe not even that much. But I don't see why somebody like me couldn't just record on Zoom and then export the file into Zoom. I mean, in to your platform. Now, I don't get into Riverside other than to record these things much. I got a team who handles all that stuff for me. But I assume Riverside doesn't have any analytics, right? They don't have any data, right? Because you really can't export from Riverside to any place other than through an RSS feed to the podcast plot places or like YouTube. I think you end up having to export and then manually import into other places like the social medias, right? Um, So, what's the number one thing, like, if there's one thing that your developer could build, regardless of how much time it takes, how much cost it makes, that your platform doesn't have, that you think if you had this, nobody and you could make sure nobody else had it. That was the number one thing you could build that nobody would be able to compete when you had this.
If I said it, then everybody will have it.
That's right. Yeah, I guess right. Keep it tight to you. So don't say what that is. But do you have the answer to that question without saying it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you've got that. This is what I know we need to build. This is what I know it needs to do. And the developer that you brought in is the guy or girl who's equipped to get you to that promised land. Now, without saying what it is, then can you tell me how long do you envision it'll take for you to get it?
I think we can get an MVP up 2 to 3 months to the quality we want it to be. But after that, we just need to improve on it because any other longer will just be wasting time.
Is it just time that's restricting that timeline, or would an influx of money increase that outcome?
In terms of development, influx of money wouldn't be the main constraint. It most likely would just be time. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, and the reason I asked that question, I'm a guy who has bootstrapped every company I've ever founded that I've ever run, and I speak with so many founders who are just such in a rush to take money from outside people, and I've never understood it. So I mean, for me, what you're saying is refreshing in that man, would it potentially help that maybe I can add a second developer, or maybe I could add another salesperson that can help me sell more? Could it help? Sure. But how much will it help compared to what I have to give up in regards to value, equity, control, those types of things? Probably not worth it. That's your assessment you've taken?
Yeah, not right now, at least.
And you would be open to eventually be acquired. Now, in that day, let's say a company comes across and they're saying, "Hey, I'm interested in buying your company."
Mhm.
What would be, and I'm sure there's a lot to factor in this, but what would be your primary reason why you would say yes? And I'll give you a couple options just to kind of lead you down a path. The biggest money they give you, your ability to maintain being involved in the growth of the business, your ability for them to seek out the long-term vision that you had, or the ability for you to be able to walk away free and clear and start something else without it being competition? What would be the most attractive thing, assuming the money was right? What's the most attractive offer or proposition they could offer you?
I think whatever my answer is right now will most likely be different then. But I would say right now would be the vision of the company.
You'd want to stay into the company,
No, the vision, if they
the
were to
vision.
acquire, like if they, oh yeah, this is the line that we're seeing it going. Yeah, we think we can help accelerate that. That would be a major selling point. If there was like a bidding war, that would be the
Yeah,
one person I'll go with.
makes sense. And to your point, the answer to that question might change by the time you're in a position to do that. But right now, somebody came in and let's just give you big round numbers. They said $50 million, but we're going to strip it for parts.
Mm,
They give you $50 million. Or they say $25 million, but we're going to run your vision. And we're gonna make your vision the legacy, the person who founded this business, but we don't need you involved in it anymore. Which one's more attractive to you in that two scenarios?
Those two scenarios, none. But if I had to choose, if I had to choose, that's a tough one. That's a tough one
Yeah.
because they said 25 and I have nothing to do
Yeah.
with it.
So half the money and you have nothing to do with the company anymore, but we're gonna take it to run your vision.
Mm-hmm.
$50,000, or so I'll give you a third scenario. 5 or 50, and we're going to strip it for parts. It's gone. We're just going to use the tech that you built. It's gone. Like there's no such thing of it anymore. We're just going to implement it into this Sony platform. And then a third option where it's 15 million, we're going to keep you as the CEO and the head of the business for you to create where it is. And we'll have a 5-year exit. If you hit all these goals and these plans, then then the exit could be 35 million at the end. But we'll give you 15 now, stay for the next 5 years to run it to our vision together.
The third option seems the most attractive, but I can see a lot not going well with that. But so far, that's what I would choose.
And so it's interesting why I asked that question, because I talk to some people who are constant entrepreneurs and they're like, oh, if I can sell my idea, I'm just going to get the most amount of money I can. And that's going to free me to go create my next idea. And
Mhm.
so why option 1 and 2 for some people is attractive in that, yeah, they might care about the legacy of something they built. They might have a whole team and they want to make sure their team is taken care of. And we're still running that. You just don't need me to do it. So I'm getting the money and I can go build my next thing as long as it's not competition. But then option 3 says, man, I am in love with this business. I'm in love with this vision. I want to run it. I want to run it long term. And that would tell me you love this idea. And it's not that you don't love being an entrepreneur, but you're not necessarily interested in 15 other ideas. You're really, really interested in making this idea great. So that's the way I would assess it from the way you've answered it.
Yeah, that is an accurate assessment because the idea is just a perfect fit of the things I'm interested in, the things I'm good at, and things that people could actually pay for. So I'm fine. Like there's so many other ideas I could do, but nah, this is good
That's
enough.
good.
There's gonna be problems everywhere. I'll enjoy this problem.
I think the biggest problem that entrepreneurs have today is they want to create a business because they want to create a business, not because I saw a problem that I want to solve and I'm passionate about having that solution there. All right. So, last question for you, Kamsi. We solve the marketing problem in the next couple of weeks. Not problem, but we bring in that third person. We've got that developer. Um, what else do you do in 2026 that helps you make leaps and bound jumps? Do you add in some sellers? Do you add in some junior sellers? Are you filling other roles, more developers? Where do you close the gaps moving forward?
I think first we need to hit certain milestones with just the team before adding more people because of communication overhead and all of that. But the most logical step afterwards would be another developer to make things faster to get to where we want to be. And then another developer again, and then maybe another marketer.
And so, in all of that, that means you are the only seller of this. Now, how many of your customers out of your, you said 1,000, is that, or 100? How many you say?
1,000 plus.
Yeah. So out of your 1,000 customers, this is an interesting part that maybe I'm not assessing. How many of your customers do you have to talk to sell? Well, like, let's just say we get 10 customers sign up this month. How many of them do you have to talk to sign up to get them signed up?
So at the start, it was a lot more people because we were getting a lot more feedback of what wasn't working and what wasn't. But right now we have a very low touch point funnel where it's like, yeah, you see what we offer, you figure out, okay, there's a tool, you can onboard yourself, you know what anything is, you do it yourself. If you're
Okay.
interested, you go ahead. But so it's not a situation where I have to hop on a call, do a demo with you anymore.
Makes total sense. And that's what I was expecting. Maybe I was under assessing when you're saying 3 more developers, second marketer, because your marketing ultimately is driving the sales. Why you need a really, really strong marketer to do that. It's not that you are not having to get on the phone and doing 10 sales pitches a day,
Yeah.
closing a pipeline. In most cases, you're getting direct signups. Very few times you're having to get on with actual customers to get them enrolled. What
Yeah.
about support? Do you handle all that? Like, if a customer has an issue, you're the one handling that? Because that might be another area that might be something that you might need help with over time.
Yeah, over time, that is also one of the roles that we're considering. But right now, a lot of our support is directly handled either by me or some of the tools that we have that help with the support. And they've been very reliable with that.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's I don't know how much your business is making every month, making every year, but it sounds like you're doing really well. And it's exciting to see that you're able to do that utilizing your developmental skills of developing a great product by yourself, selling it, doing it all yourself until you needed to bring in people to help you expand. Seems like you're being very strategic in regards to the people you bring in, scaling at that. You're not in a rush to be a billionaire like so many other entrepreneurs are. Build it correctly, grow successfully, and through that, I'm excited to continue to watch you grow. Kamsi, for our audience, any final words you want to share with them?
I think it would be just take your time with it and learn whatever you need to learn. Because if you don't learn it, you have to go back and learn it,
Mm,
unfortunately.
yeah.
So just take your time with it.
Yeah. Don't be in a rush, guys. Too often people are in a rush to do everything and to be everything. Take your time. It's not a sprint, it is a marathon. Education is your friend. I would tell you, network is your friend. Having people that you know that can mentor you and teach you is fantastic. It's one of the things I wish I knew earlier in my career. Kamsi, anything I can do to help you down the road, don't hesitate to ask. For all the audience, I'll make sure I'll put how to get in contact with him, how to go and sign up for his service. We'll have my team look at getting rid of Riverside after this call is over and see if we can replace it with what he does. For anybody who wants to get in touch with him, we'll make it really, really easy. For all of you guys that are watching, like, share, comment, engage with the content as much as possible. Kamsi, I appreciate you jumping on. Learned a lot from you today, and I look forward to watching you continue to grow.
I appreciate that, man.
All right, man. Y'all have a good day.